Hello, I'm Zachary O'Shea. This is Box of Teeth, and every October for the last few years I've gone ahead and shared a homebrewed horror theme monster for Dungeons & Dragons, and I'm doing so again this October. So here is your October Monster Day for October 9th, 2023. For the second week of October, we're covering legendary versions of previous Waning Court monsters that have been made, and the reason for this is twofold. One, it gives me the opportunity to share monsters that I've made that I haven't been able to with you yet, and two, it kind of helps you think about, okay, how can I make a legendary version of a previous monster that will make a nice antagonist for a game and stick in players' heads. We're going to be going ahead and covering an actual lower ranked member of the Waning Court, an actual Fey noble known as a Waning Weeper, and then a legendary version of one here in just a moment. Now, the Waning Weeper is not like other Waning nobles. They've given up their title, they don't wear armor. Instead, these women wear once white dresses spoiled by grave dirt, undead secretions, and spilled blood. They wear a veil of creepy spider silk that is affixed to their horns via amber growths. While the lace does obscure some of their features, their sinister beauty still shines through in a kind of gauzy, mysterious way. Nor does the Waning Weeper carry any common armament that one would associate with war. Instead, they carry, well, necromancy, and a rusted spade where its haft is infested with dire flies. Her weeping never actually ceases, though it dies down to kind of a soft sob whenever she's in the middle of conversation. This former noblewoman can also ramp up her endless sobbing to an ear-splitting decibel that has a shriek that can rival that of a banshee. Now, why would a member of the Waning Court give up their position and become a Waning Weeper? Well, it is a very important ceremonial position that comes with its own kind of power and removes the Waning Weeper from the usual machinations of the court. Whenever a Waning noble dies, which is not an uncommon nor somber occurrence, Waning Weepers orchestrate wakes for these deceased folks that are full of dancing, drinking, and other debauchery. Now, it's not uncommon as the carousing gets out of hand for a new body to turn up, and thus the wake for one person turns into a wake for a second and a third, and so on and so forth, and can go for several days. Through it all, the Waning Weeper just smiles through her tears, keeps the party going. And these almost endless parties lead to exhaustion for most, but not the Waning Weeper, as she is immune to exhaustion and a consummate professional. She uses Restless Dead for both servants that never tire and unceasing macabre entertainment. She also keeps the party going when everyone is dead, pardon the pun, on their feet. Her enchantment forces the celebrants to get moving and ensure that they have passed on the proper respects. All right, let's take a look at a common Waning Weeper's statistics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. They are a CR 7 creature. Like many of the Waning Court, they do have resistance to lightning and thunder. As I mentioned, they are immune to exhaustion. They do have bitter tears, so anytime a creature starts to turn within 30 feet of them, they have to make a charisma save or succumb to depression and lethargy. They do have innate spellcasting, which are all necromantic spells. They do have magic resistance, as well as morning glory, where any undead that are around them have advantage on resisting turn effects. They do carry a spade as their usual attack, which is used to dig up bodies all the time, so being hit by it can give you sewer plague. They do have their wail. They do also have Wake for the Dead, which is a variation on Otto's irresistible dance. So let's take a look at a legendary Waning Weeper, in this case, Lady Slough. Now, Lady Slough differs from her kin in temperament first and foremost. She wears a sultry crimson dress as opposed to the usual white one that other Waning Weepers wear. It's clean, it's a little more revealing, and it's just generally more of a party girl sort of atmosphere that she has. She is just as quick to laugh as she is to sob. And while she does move from wake to wake, it really doesn't have anything to do with the Waning Court more than it does kind of moving through the mortal plane, causing death and destruction to small communities. She always takes up residence in a local cemetery or barrow and digs up the freshly dead to animate. These new shambling servants clean out the mausoleums, stack the headstones into tables and benches, and clear out all the weeds. And once the venue is ready, Lady Slough invites, quote-unquote, the living to the celebration. If they had to be kidnapped by skeletons and zombies, that's totally okay with her. Inevitably, some mortals do get up a heroic streak and try to stop her, of course, but the Highborn has supreme control over the dead that is leashed to her. She can even shuffle damage that is inflicted to her off to her undead entourage as needed. Once everyone is dead and the party has petered out, then she just picks up what's left, whatever servants she still has that she likes, and she moves on to the next small community to ruin. Let's take a look at her statistics as well for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Now, she is 1 CR higher. She does have damage resistance to non-magical attacks. She does speak Common and Sylvan. She still has the same abilities as some of her kin, such as Bitter Tears, innate spellcasting of necromantic spells, Morning Glory, and magic resistance. But she also has Fallen Grace, where she has harvested her unnatural charisma to be a shield around her, rather like a nymph would in previous editions. She also has Grave Digger, so she has advantage on attacks with her spade if she's attacking a creature that has disease, and the spade does cause disease, so she can get advantage easily. She does still have the spade, the whale, and the wake for the dead, but she also has multiple attacks, so she can attack twice. She has a reaction of Indebted Dead. As mentioned, she can take half of the damage from herself and move it to a friendly undead creature within 5 feet of her. So it's kind of like Uncanny Dodge, but it has a drawback. There's only so much she can use it unless she has unlimited numbers of undead. As a legendary creature, she does have legendary actions. She has another round where she can drink a potion or 1 mug full of liquid. She can make a spade attack, or she can do Dead Man's Party and make a friendly undead within the area just move as her legendary action. I realize that was a bit of a longer video, so I really do appreciate your time and attention. Of course, if you want to see all the monsters I've made for October's, this one and previous, you can go to boxofteeth.blogspot.com. That does include hundreds of other horror-themed creatures for Dungeons & Dragons, all perfectly free. If you're interested in the other horror role-playing game projects that I have that have nothing to do with Dungeons & Dragons, or the horror fiction that I write, and this is the part where I talk about grease paint right there in my fingers, it's got a killer clown. It's a nice read for this season. I would appreciate if you read it and let me know what you think. Anyway, you can go ahead and find that at www.zacharyoshay.com. All right, everybody, have a great week ahead of you, and stick around for just another Mimic Monday soon.